We remember tomorrow. Allah may this continue. With the extra again for all, give them opportunity. When they say they come opportunity for them, keep on them. Allah may this continue on this inshallah. Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير
We will now ask Reverend Akima to lead us a Christian prayer.
We all say the Lord's Prayer.
Thank you, Reverend. I'm excited to see what's around Ghana. Somebody will volunteer at particular gathering. I now call upon Sahr Randolf Fillie for making that introduce the chairman of this occasion. Sahr Randolf Fillie.
Honorable Primary Chief, Permanent Secretary of Mines, the 14 paramountries and the counties, all the dignitaries present here. I just want all I do, and I'm glad when I come here today. I get a small task here where I for do to introduce the policy makers for Kanchia this August meeting. This policy what I want for Kanchia introduce to now. Now, some of this story, psychology doctor Ibon. First man, this policy here, it goes school now Warman Primary School. From Warman Primary School, you go now CKC. From CKC, it goes to Dollars Afritown, who said go to the advanced level. From there, it go to the back of Salon for 2 good years. From there, 1965 to 67, we can imagine now. From there, this very policy, like travel go to USC. Who said go study, go get BA, Masters, PhD, all different, because they go to a government jobs. This policy, when you come on back, like how we can the Ministry of Mines and Development, as government economists, and this country here. From there again, nice well, and the travel, like you go back, you go to the World Bank. When you go to the World Bank, for some time, you come out, you come back in a salon. When you come back in a salon, they appoint as Trade and Development Commissioner at the Salon Embassy in America. But that's what you did as for that particular side. Let me know of all the trade business and development business, and for them country here, Japan, Korea, and beaucoup countries travel for place salon development. From there, they appoint her as head of country at the very embassy back. This was here at the same time, be lecturer, and a very important thing, like college they call George Community College. So all this for your long time, I say I don't walk outside. I say I don't walk for them. That's for them. This was the way it come. This was the way it beat. He beat some country first time who they get there. Then they fear the war. So country that we come together, they turn that time on. They bring development instead of war. So they make some association, what we call alliance. Diamond Peace Alliance. That particular person, then they make back chairman by that day. Commit Diamond, stop for me from development. From there, yeah, this is not yeah. It's from 2008 to it became for resettlement program. From there to 2014, this is not a program. No, after the chairman. This was the
Thank you very much, Mr. Fillie Faboe. We quite know a couple who. Faboe, members of the high table, everyone else, all protocols. The rule is when I chair this meeting of tax conclusion. And what I begin with, the chief that I will not begin for talking. Today is a day of celebration, a day of gladness. When we meet now, I think the minister will be in this building officially. And that is show, say we don't change, we won't change the car. Like now, when we talked before, we don't blood diamond. It cannot be diamond for conflict. Now, we see what diamond do in development. Today, and the day where the government of Sierra Leone come out with what you call community development committee, community development agreement. What do you mean? Well, some of them, we all don't live long enough. We know people don't go through on the time diamond, the time diamond, the diamond. People don't go through from the 1930s, 1950s to the present time. We all know say, there we diamond there, and make other people get happy, make them glad. Over 60% of the diamond in America, when person one marry a diamond, one engage a diamond. So we want to recognize the presence of the minister of this book of Koidu Town. We are aware of the schedule. We are minister, we have to talk of this day, a special day for common people, and we can tell the story. We know we don't go through. Day like today, now we remember 5 million at this country. For no man, not sit down and arrest you. Put a part of what? Put on Patari. All kinds of stuff. We not get better from them. 1995, we begin get something. But then we get, after Koidu Holdings, we get an agreement with the government, and that agreement says they forgive 0.1% of what they sell to the landowners. And that's not before agriculture. From Congo, from the government, from the people, from everyone else. and then that might benefit the people there. That's more. Not the benefit the people there. That's more. What are the reasons there? One, they say the people that weigh that money for us, they don't get much say and they own development and the money will be donate. So that's from Congo. Two, the benefit they will in the town, the non-government they try different things, like contract mining, but it not give the intended result. It not give the intended result. So government sit down and write the 2009 Mines and Minerals Act. They put in that act provision when that the mandate of community development agreement. In that agreement, they say mining companies they will give a specific percentage of what they sell for community development. But still at the 0.1%. New law don't come. And this new law don't come, they don't take a very dramatic step. We will get 0.1% in the past. This percentage, when they sign an agreement with Koidu Town, 0.25%. Now the company itself said, and with government, they agree on that 0.5%, even though in the law books, that's 0.1. We don't get a new law where the government enact them. You will see community development committee, they become millionaires. Income where they come. Money will come and you know what for me. This particular law in the past. I give you a small example. 0.1% of 100 million, 100,000. That whole law that has to do that. Waiting for you to give me that 0.25%. Now, the new law we don't pass, when the last sign, they say 1%. That 1% there, if they sell the same amount of diamond, 100 million, we get 1 million. Just imagine one community, if you get 1 million for year for sale, and for not people there, come out with this is a monumental change. The mathematics say the thing will exponentially, you know. If that company there, they sell 500 million, we get 5 million. And the kind of product where we will get money, community development, we will get money by this time to sell. So I cannot imagine this kind of dramatic action where this new law they bring down. I want to tell all people there who don't suffer for that much, all things don't happen. But this law will don't come. Right at the zero on, let me understand. And in fact, the company that we get for Ghana, they will benefit more. Ghana they can offer 1%, all the individual in this country will get that law. So I really don't know. As a small statistician, I always have a small thing. I don't know what to tell the government. For no people there. If we believe we can do, it's too late to express the gratitude. If they make 250,000, how they make now? Will they begin make 1 million for 1 year? So this community development committee, the money will get from Koidu Holdings. We get through an agreement where people from the government often say, we sell money to them. But this is the first time we make that by agreement, development by agreement. The company then, with the community, when I agree, government are part of that agreement. Look at the money we don't have, but the money not for share, not for development. And they do the guidelines, the project they want to pull for that day. Now we do all that this development. Before, we the ground to say, we know they get what say. Now we own development. Government say, when I look at money, now we decide what you want for. Government say, the mining companies, they do add to the communities, what they call corporate social responsibility. Now, government say we have forgive a specific percentage of the money we have to get to the communities. Because all man don't know say government, international partners, they don't know say the dam will come, they not plan. They will not plan. But now we get reason for planting forever. Because this 1% is not the way you go. In fact, if the government get chance, when they can then 5% of money. But you don't say for they negotiate. So I can tell you, I don't feel great. I mean, we have born and we get these great mineral resources, and we don't make laws in the past, we don't get master law. Where it make all man was not ready. Any kind of thing, to tell our people, when I tell people that say this new law, the parliament of China, still there's room for improvement. All the man is so. But this one, let me go on, it will make you millionaire. And look, this facility will not get higher. Now from that diamond money, the 250,000. So we the terms are minister today. For a lot of people there, we know that if you give it a chance, we can prove our better. We get good leadership where we elect people, they can assemble all. What do you think of that? Not at all. We do not do that. And you ready to begin. So under this by leadership, not to perfect man, nobody is perfect. We're not perfect. But the leadership will show for development, proactive, and bring booster relationship today. Before that, for 2 months, you don't need another stop today. We don't build school there. We don't build this center. Put the other building with all my development. And their school they will build, they are quite consistent with the president, with the government in programs there. That is to say, human resource development. You don't go develop, you don't get paid for it now. So all through the do that development. And we can't be any more grateful to government for the recognition of needs. So from there, through the indefatigable farmers, through leaders, would we invite the government, the minister for say, the agreement was signed, we don't need the money, that anything they do, we do. And we people then are already fixed. Then when they would get CDC there now, when they get progressive CDC there now, that God you don't set the place. Now look at how what they do. What they do under God in wisdom, under wise leadership. So that then comments the day, I want to make that as we go along, a celebration. We don't fail government. We don't produce. This is an example. And we get more for that. We get some half children, the company there, actually, give it the booster, we will do more. So on this note, I would remind you now, what a great day. You look at yesterday, you look at today, we start with the day, we start with dinner. I think say a time for joy. And therefore appreciate that one. So on that note, we go over the program. We call on Mr. Bakaman, what we call the introduction of dignitary. We move fast with the manage the time, because we would have go pray. Mr. Bakaman, where you? Okay, go to the next program.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you for giving me this opportunity for introduce the Tankolo and Thanks, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister, Sir, Council of Parliamentary Colonies, His Worship Mayor, Chairman of the District Council, Koidu family, Paramount Chiefs, Chief of Speakers, all other authorities, Unapushe and Cabo. For start with, for time, I'll introduce to first gentleman of this great Tagoro, but no other person. Honorable Paramount Chief, Gava Tati. If you are from what you are, I forgot the first lady that is Chigoya, where na Madam Yai Geneva Sakwin I come to be back where Chief Colonel Foga Bride is Chief Speaker Sahr Randolf this meeting and introduce again the framework of rural development oriented listener Tankoro, Professor Samba Alpha Petewama. This chiefdom is divided into three sections. The three section chiefs are there. We have the most senior section chief of Tankoro section, Tankoro chiefdom, Koidu Town. We go who are there, give young guy, who are section. We go Jama Sirion K. Kelly, Jama section. We get with this Shaman Sahr Jala, Tankoro Shaman. Here we get two courts. We get court number 1 Chairman Fatoma Mwekwino. Court number 2 Chairman Samba Richard Mbayo. Okay, for time's sake, all ward councillors, PU, district council, or city council, we are going to see one. All chief of council members, if we are there, we are going to see one. Chief of committee, we are going to and all CDC members, but we don't get to say all the CDC on the ground. All chief of councillors, whatever they call them, tribal head, we are going to see one. Okay, if you don't say you will pay tax year, all taxpayers of Tankoro, everybody should be used. So we want to do the introduction. Nina Charles Patama, Chief of Class for Tankoro Chiefdom. Thank you very much, Chairman. Oh, sorry. All township present, all township. Chief Governor and sorry, all township present, all the township. All deputy section chief. Aha. They will be doing, I think, in the kitchen. Don't think I'm idea. Thank you, MD against we. Now we get introduction by Mr. Fillie Faboe, by the district ACCSC.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister, the distinguished parliament chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, the duty this afternoon, I will introduce authorities and districts. It's an impromptu appointment duty this afternoon. But anyway, I'll try. If you let everything, you know what we're doing. In the first place, our chairman council of parliament. This is Alaji Oraguno of Guam or Chilong. This is Eronawa and Chilong. This is the one is all about Tommy Chilong. Speaker Machaduba of Guam or Chilong. This is Ali Musa of Mabilo Chilong. This is Speaker Puma of German Chilong. This Sansi Piwa of Parenalo Chilong. Rama Kutu, Toli Chilong. Mr. Great ONS Honorary Street. Madam Masabuna, the correction zone. Excellency Oba of the correction zone. Peter Esima correction zone. That is the head of all fires. This is our children. Commander of 9th Battalion, Alon. LC Tamporo, Savannah. Well, we want to make a parliament is our disputes. Sorry. I can't know at all. And if we're going to this, we have advances this information.
Thank you. As you may say, there's an error that the corrector now. The governor will be introduced honorable member of the city member of Randolf Parliament, constituency 29, with the beginning. Mrs. Rebecca Sahr. Thank you very much. Now we move on very quickly. Welcome address by Chief Speaker, Chief MP Ghana.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Professor Koidu Honorable Parliament Chief, members of the High Table, the Mayor, Chairman, Koidu City Council, local authorities, ladies and gentlemen, speakers, my friends, my brothers, all in hand. I'm happy and proud for welcoming us today and abroad, a big land at this point in time. Happy in the sense I'm proud because we have seen also as a result of the vision, the dream of our paramount chief from our certificate. When we walk around at this country, rebels destroy all the sites. They destroy areas in the whole lake, including one special area like in Lebanon, for example, people they admire. And the only legacy we get now, and the only building we get when the freedom administration building. This came about because of fire with a long guy, Paramount Chief Musa Safi, Sahr Randolf, Kanye, and the others, and others. So, when I take up the mental responsibility as a paramount of this area, this paramount tutor, they say this time I get to see the landscape of this tutor. So as a result of this, from the resources we get from the mining communities, it's like we have to utilize them for building infrastructure development. We will stand as a legacy and a landmark of making the whole of it. So, we will get now, there will be our investor. So, because of that vision and that dream, then we could get it. One example, one way of him now, when Thomas Happy Center, we all use now. So, other development sites that don't take place in other areas. It's where this kingdom of a believer. You don't start all the sections, the water section, the Ghana section, the Stakro section, instead of being development. So as a result of that vision, for being legacy, who would like to matter, they will say, they don't matter, and they bring this, and we get it today. So I welcome now to this occasion we are today, for saying we can participate, or take part in this inaugural program, or open this building, so we are and are gathering advantage to the people of the country. This environment, I pray God, as a result of all the commitments of the paramount chief, the kingdom administration, and the people of the country. And I hope this focus will happen, this forum will happen, for the kingdom that we will. So I welcome now to this occasion, we can enjoy and share tributes. We will enjoy, say, when we die tomorrow, this thing will be a landmark for the people. We will be a legacy for generation yet from home. So I welcome now, and of course, is
Thank you very much, Chief Gato. Now, the next item on the agenda, overview of Koidu Limited CDC CDA. This bill will get higher. It comes from the 0.25% money we get from Koidu Limited. And whether the government or something. But the call of Mr. Henry Mark, they can make a brief statement and they introducing colleagues them with the order we can have today. Mr. Henry Mark.
As we don't have too much time, and also, our minister has traveled a long way, so I'd like to make it short. So I'd like to say all protocol observed. We have only 4 hours staff here. Mr. Faboe, who is the community development manager. Behind him, we have Sahr Randolf, who is HR manager, Koidu Limited. And then behind Sahr Randolf sitting there, we have one of our ladies in the community, Koidu Town. I myself is Henry Faboe, head of the Department for Community and Resettlement. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to make it too long. That's our achievement. Okay, where we are sitting now is a very, very important landmark. A landmark in the sense that since I have been working with Koidu Limited for the past almost 12 years, it's one of the biggest projects that we have put up, and all through the request and the vision of our paramount chief, our host paramount chief. I'd like to thank you to him, as well as to Dr. Petuama and all the members of the CDC for the hard work for selecting projects that are beneficial to the community. Because, as you said, people get married, people die, children get baptized, naming ceremonies, and you need somewhere comfortable to do all these events. And where can you have? You cannot have it under mango trees anymore, especially when it's raining. We have this building, so I am very happy that we utilize the money to make these halls. This is not the only one. I have had the opportunity to monitor with the CDC and our chief, the schools, health centers, as well as we're talking about Tankoro, but don't forget we also have the institute who also receive the benefit from the mining company. Even though the mine is in Tankoro, they benefit 20% of whatever money goes to the community development fund. We should not forget that. So I'd like to say thank you very much to our host chief and also to my community. I have been here all this time. If I'm doing something wrong and they are not accepting me, I will not be standing here. So I'd like to say thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bach, for the brief statement that you made. Now we come to statements. And the first one will be given by the mayor, His Worship, the mayor, Koidu Town City Council.
Thank you,
you so much, Mr. Chairman, the honorable member of Parliament, Mr. Wasaku, the Parliament Chief of Koidu, the Chief of Speaker, the honorable member of Parliament, the MP for Constituency 29, I begin with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, the Chairman, Council of Parliament Chief, the Chairman, Koidu District Council, the Chiefdom Speakers from various Chiefdom, other Parliament Chief, the Wedia, Koidu Limited, all other invited guests, a special one to the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, a special one because this particular partiality in our midst happened for being a teacher, the terror from 3. So at any time I don't continue for talk. At any time the day I don't continue for talk because the terror sit once and I tell you sit like a straight the teaching integrated and math. We are all young anyway. Thank you so much. So I want to welcome you to Kono on a special note. Of course, today we are for a very important occasion because if we all remember, this place was already so for the past 1 year or so, or even after the war, how this place been there, and the memo we get from the column always post storage. And so today we see this kind of magnificent structure, which therefore serve different purposes at this particular municipality. I believe says a big achievement to the Tankoro Chiefdom and even Koidu District as a whole. Because the purpose with this structure is serve not only to Tankoro Chiefdom, but to the people of this municipality and Koidu District as a whole. This is not the first project we would always see when the CDC at Tankoro, they launch and they utilize. We get the one in Kokwima, but I tell you for free, not to everybody will they access the Kokwima. So this facility will need plenty at this municipality. And me particularly, by virtue of the position, we all are members of the CDC, though we're not the regular members. But I believe say with this kind of vision, where the Paramount Chief and the other CDC member they get Kono, and we will be sure of the mining company, because also they are investors. If they're the fed for diamond, I believe the more diamonds they extract, the more profit, the more money come to Tankoro Chiefdom, and the more mega project that Tankoro Chiefdom will undertake or the CDC will undertake. So in as much as we show of we learn that here is the land of diamond, we want, or maybe advise the whole world around the city's mega project, that we, as the people of Tankoro, maybe we not even hesitate for thinking about mega project. We even if not within an year, but hence we sure say we get for the best CDC, we get a mega project and after 3, 4, 5 years it take, but as long as that project will benefit for all these weeks at large, they could not afraid for undertaker because this we sure of this money coming every calendar year as long as proceeds day from the mining company. And I want to thank the government of Sierra Leone under the leadership of President Brigadier Julius Maada Bio and the Astute Minister of Mines and the Parliament of Sierra Leone for where they don't pass the 2022 Mines and Mineral Act. But for record, when the president will not sign up, then we will begin to use them effectively. I believe that the new act, when it come up, more resources will come to host communities in this country, not only for the streets. So this is a milestone for the people of this country, not only for Kono, because mining not to what it takes place. But in particular about Kono, I believe that when this particular act will come up, when the president will assent and sign up, I believe that more resources will come to Kono district, the CDC, the
councils, and I believe so with that, more development within our community. And even if you want to undertake many water project in our community, and I believe so very opportunity for taking because we are short of the money. I want to tell the CDC chairman and other members of the CDC committee plenty times for this kind of structure over there, and also the mining company where they make sure they put the money on the CDC account. Thank you so much, and we wish to get more of this cash flow here than for this week. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Worship the Mayor. That was a short and quick one. Time is against us. We'll now call on the chairman, Koidu District Council, to follow the example of.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, all the paramount chiefs there is watching the mayor. We always have afternoon. Today, we all gladly go visit. Like you, two reasons. One, being a CDC member at Takoro. Number two, being a member of the advisory committee for that project there. So a year ago, 1 or 2 years ago, when the chairman bring this thing before we, I remember all Honorable Rebecca there. I was saying, how is this possible? Rebecca, explain. Was it when we need to see it? We do all of the obstacles with Napoli. So no, and today we there again. That one is sister with me, the mayor with me. This law should we say, once you get money, you get people there. We rely honest and determined. You get something out of that money where everybody are before. Now this today. This is money we can be done in a bank. There's a way the government will still not get active for money, more projects. I don't say very soon for what I want. I don't want preempt. I don't say the chairman will guarantee me that day. Very soon we'll go for another one. So one will start by thanking the government of His Excellency the President, because it allows very cheap law. We get the money free and we do wait to make it cheap law before. This is a big assignment. When they give money, left and right for me, it's go before. If you don't go before, they so far. And the government is not kind free and auditors and the kind of people that become out. They give it free and for user for the development of Takoro. The way the chairman say, we get school, we run along, we get 2 schools in Takoro. Out of that same money, we get this, we get other one, they go again as CDC. This should say the diamond for left history with positive. Because to start, the only two will tell me say NDMC did not operate now, past them almost broken camp houses. Oh, they see now very close to it. And one Abogalu, where some people are not begin demolish and change up with modern houses. Now the only landmark or well plant or well something. But today with this kind of opportunity, this kind of facility, they begin when they not born it, when they born, when they come, they will not say diamond have been indeed a blessing to Kono. One hotel, Koidu Limited, thank you. Because they can do their business with government, but they don't ever fail for sending that money. They left now to the bank for them, but they don't ever fail. So businessman for put money in their hand, by money, they take a challenge. But because government say they for go, and government always urge them through a minister, where now one of the ministers in this country, what they can tell me for call ministers, I get a trainer that I can call. I don't want to give the honor about how about India among the idea. Because if not some people, they say for me they try out in the department, but anytime they knock it door, wake up for good, that will wake up for good, my business for where this country go before. It's always ready. Imagine they attend meeting this morning and Minister of Finance and come. If not some minister, will permanent secretary, you know, it will carry on. But this man, don't show we say,
He not only led the office, but he led the development within a ministry in the district. Thank you very much, and welcome to Koidu District, compliment of the city. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to talk because I overjoy for me be part of something. They see it this way. I think Thomas Abdi, the guy there for the one where they from 5 Sport Table. This is the guy take over what they may are. But the travel, but what they have one for see. Now also the big go now for the investment in the villages, that are Koidu, and we build a plaza. Because Corona, one of the cities, Naftalo, where the Italian provincial headquarters, where we say get plaza, where the Koidu CDC money in plaza. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for your statement and the remarks then on the specifics of the programs and what they do. I agree with you. We get the program, we'll therefore go into the interior of the chiefdom. We start now, therefore go to the other sections then. Time is against us. Now we call on the Chairman, Council of Parliament Chiefs for the district to make a brief statement. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, honorable ministers, Minister and Permanent Secretary, Koidu Paramount Chiefs, the Mayor of the City, District Council, all invited guests who are here this afternoon. We, as Paramount Chiefs, we are glad to be glad, but we colleague the exact way in all these steps and the districts. On all the streets, now one people said they said the Nasa so one the Nasa the northern side, they say on all the streets. And now that thing they happen, I think say we reflect on with all the children. But this good will not happen. I think say the oil, the rubber, which they said, I will tell you plenty. Thank you. You see, this now with the try. For government.
Hello guys, welcome once more. This is the launching ceremony for venue in Koidu Town. We don't lose camera from Koidu Town. Hopefully we'll get cameras back up and running anytime soon. But in the meantime, I just want to make we just get a brief about the history behind this great man, Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe. Fillie Faboe was the son of the soil from Koidu Town, and I believe seeing a person we don't serve Kono for almost the entire life. We need to talk about people that we don't make contribution within Sierra Leone and contribution at the community. This is now one person where you go possibly I mark. He died at the age of 96. We are facing an age where plenty Sierra Leoneans they need to leave at this particular point in time. Reason being, sometimes it depends on whose partner they're going to be born, what things you be they do, how you live your lifestyle, and waiting at some of the things that you don't come across or we don't grow up with. But I think Sahr Randolf is a remarkable man, and I feel he lived right up to the age of 96, and he lived to the fullest. Live to the fullest, to me, it means a lot. It means that this is somebody who has possibly gone through the reins of everything where a young man go want for doing in life when he grew up or as a young man growing up. He gets so much tied to him, attached to him. He gets so much things that we don't do. Okay, I think we don't come back to the hall, so I will go back straight to the hall, and then we'll come back in between if we lost camera at any given point in time. Okay, I'll go across to Kono, and then we can even forget sound for Kono anytime soon.
When at the Supreme Being, it also appoints people there on earth where they give authority to. He said, and their authority there, we for respect them. And when we respect them, blessing will come upon the land. And if we don't respect them, we disrespect them, waiting the apple. We will disrespect them, swear we come out, and swear we come out. Across this court here, we'll make one join me give a round of applause to the dear father, the paramount for Malaka. Please. Thank you very much. You know, the reason why I make her say this, somebody, the paramount chief for your big statements and everything, when you only have somebody, you know go no one until you near them. From the day I come for no paramount chief for Gaga Sacri for me, tell me can campaign say we are near them. I know the kind of bossy way be. For me, Katimapia be honorable, not to make me honorable. But I ain't building for me a bit today honorable. I don't pass through a lot when I'm from me advice. And anybody with the developments are in mind, not only I am, but then I mind and ask, you father not possible. You set the development and you act a man. They say, show me your best friend, and I will tell you who you are. If you follow somebody when they do bad, they always will advise you bad. But if you follow somebody when they do good, they will advise you good. And this is not the good paramount chief, we God of bless, and cover chief government. And there are money. All we went to those and we went and can cover people. We are not scared for knocking the money. Waiting Dr. Alpha Betuama say, money they can't work. But someone goes to down and corner, that money, and there's also when they do small project, they share the things, and they pay on a please in the name of God. Organize yourself. Una organize yourself. Una think of ideas. Una go meet the CDC. Una talk to the paramount chief. This is my idea. How can you help? When an idea will benefit a lot of people. One maker says so, the money when they come, if they pick all the money they can cover them to like, they say for everybody 2,000. If they do, but if they invest in something, we will benefit with all. We all know, okay? Please, let me embrace development in our colonies. Not only our the entire colonies. If we embrace development, we go sit down with scholars. We go sit down with peace. We go sit down with unity. And we go see the results when they come. Then we embrace with leaders. They are not 100%. They might go out of the way. But use the right-based approach for me to lead and tell her what you agree with. Use the right-based approach for me to tell her what you want from the community. Now, knowing that you don't commit a leader, you chastise them, or you talk something bad about them, don't you feel say it will go help you? No, they can't. Maybe they are not good one. So I can admonish you all for do that. The second person where I want to make we give a round of applause to now two people. First of all, now we daddy the president, His Excellency, Dr. Julius Madam. Someone will say, because you are now you get that talk about that truth when you are not talking big. No, two. Yes. Number one, he said, it will make woman they will get voice today. By the 19th, it is signed the gender equality bill. When I'm in here for make woman they get space. When I go make, not only one goes to go at this table, other woman will come up this table. I tell them plenty thank you. I also want to tell you, minister, my young man, I want to tell them plenty thank you, the minister of minds. Let me put two hands together for us. The documents, when they talk about the law, the new, the reviewed Mines and Mineral Act, of which me, the vice chairman of the Mines Committee in Parliament, me leader when I saw and I say Lamina, and again I when I'm chairman of the Mines Committee in Parliament, the minister and a lot of stakeholders. That document don't get back and forth, even to the we come around to the Mines for ask and consent for that document at the end of the day. Minister, I tell you, thank you, get sense. You get sense, babe. You know why? Make it do waiting you inside that document. Now, I know say by now we for benefit from a mining process. You know that. And when you put speaking where common and mining community, you put and pass mining business. In a normative for put as document, in a normative for put as law, so that in people will benefit. And indeed, look, 0.25%, automatically round up to 1%. Hey, a big money, we don't know the calculation. If you know the calculation, you will see that you ask for if you think of good ideas for being card at the table. That is obvious, President is signing because we in a parliament, we don't pass on. Anything will pass as law, it don't pass through. President Okan doing and signing it. And that, not only no more, a lot of good government come to the community. And every constituent, one main constituent, not only constituency, you be youth, you be women, you be disabled, you be men, you be old man, you will get for benefit from mining proceeds according to what that document talk about. If you cheat on when you get mining, you will get for benefit from that proceeds. When the documents come on, by the grace of God, we all go join them because we make that. We go join them for go round to people and educate them about that document. But one thing I want to say now, at the big, we will feel say we don't see strong meaning in our communities. Now we don't encourage illicit mining. If not the illicit mining immediate call, we will benefit this. My answer, we will benefit this. If you will want to, I mean, they say they artisanal mining, that one mining, no good. It's good. But for one be, una come together. Una get a small scale mining license. Una do una mining with scholar, like we Koidu, people they jealous Koidu is Koidu Limited. But because they fulfill all documentation, so then they mine with scholars. And then they do what they for as obligation to the government. You said, na Sierra Leonean, you get right for get mining company. Tell you company, we get money, invest, then you go see the benefit of mining. And so we, the people of Tankoro and the people of Koro districts, I talk around just now. Me slogan na Koro Makwe. Me own slogan na Koro Makwe. Koro in business. Now me I stand for. Koro Makwe. Now I stand for because President in talk say we don't suffer with injustice for too long. Central government no go own source revenue. Wetin dey comot na the land. Make we stay together for enjoyment. If we not stay together, we bang with politics is the red, this the black, this and people they are. But if we stay together, we will better, we go see and we will enjoy it. I want to end up with this, being a politician, why they talk, I must end up with politics. And I want to talk to the young people, 2023 there, June day na road, the politics will be part of and the big, more keep peace, na come we the mama, we say we want peace. We the people of Koidu Street, we just make peace. And now with only peace, we go able to choose the right people who represent you. And I don't go end if I don't recognize the woman there. The woman there, when we clap, we know say una there. You see, and they say, "Oh, we not the woman, I can't people." So because woman and then you are also empty because I recognize only woman there. And we papa there, when I strong they support me. I recognize them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for your statement. We'll now call on our Paramount Chief for make a statement at this point in time.
Thank you, Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary. Honorable. Unconventional, and not only minister of I wake up this morning and realize it's here and the wife was there. So I want for I will see happy birthday somewhere. The first thing with anybody need for knowing about this minister that not all AI scientists are also a linguist. Yeah, the director general of mines and children speak Russian fluently. When you want to say a word and put a word on it, you're not saying a word, just a Russian. Yes. I want to tell you this. I want to say plenty to take you to this for when you find time for Ghana today. I know say 9 o'clock this morning, it required for the Ministry of Finance to sign very important documents for we run this country. After returning program meeting talk last night, the chief I can focus on this document. A planning force is a chief of planning at the time. But at the same EPS as a backup plan. And around 10 something, I call the chief planner. I had the force total dates for Canada. And I see the effort, the extraordinary effort they made. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you, sir. I also want to recognize one of the businesses that we will grow. Today, you know, in this school, they know everything about Messi, they know everything about Ronaldo, they know everything about the musicians. The room is small. Academics then wrote a book that they will enjoy. And only the qualifier is about 2 months for the homeworks. And they introduce somebody now. When I want to see what they qualify back, I think from 1, I think they did from 5. Dr. Aminata said, "Hey, this time, please stand up for the conclusion." Those of our NBC body, my became doctor and the educational field. Thank you. A senior consultant in the field of education at this country today. And then the other sister said, "Mr. Basia and I have the resident in the United Kingdom, and also in I saw her, yes, these are these people.
Hello, sorry guys, once more. I think we're having problem with Koidu Town, so definitely I'll go get 4cam on camera until we get Koidu back up and running. I think we'll go Koidu back again.
No, TNA was pioneered by Tamamusa Sato Tor. The chief of speaker was Pastor Adami. The chief of council members were Tia Kanawa, Tom Kerry, I can go on and on. One panel body alive, not a single one panel alive. But I did this in 9/11. What are we doing for our own children to go? When it was low, I think the journey, all the chiefs of Tangoro, the women, the youth, now we know that back home. When I make a campaign for parliament, and we walk around with issues, I will tell people and say, new slogan, aggressive economic development with no apologies to no one. Aggressive economic development with no apologies to no one. Because also for a long time, far too long, that I'm also going to have to do. They are very little for sure. And so, why can I not be no matter than we had in how for before? And as I sit on I look at the audience, and I see so much of it is when I went actually it's I don't recommend that. Yeah. I see the two sisters Diana, Sister Maria, Mother Studio. These are top executive members of the class. Me and chief, my house is open to everybody. I had this relationship with them before they went to my political parties. But my position is very clear. They left my parents, Asmita, Lusa, The other one is tablet. Let me tell you that with the middle will give me 1 piece of Angora right now. The more will give 1 watt away from me. It is only the government that will be able to provide. If it is so, then it will be void of me. Then it means I really don't like people. I really don't care for them. And the government will be. We get things that this district right now all over technically. Who say for you? Ask me that the government, they do that. Also government. The kind of make room take my house. Sit down, they speak now. And put down, let's start the business. Now there is another sheriff in town, there's another government. And it don't take up very serious things they don't care, only for people care about. The University of Science and Technology is the role of the community that they give border not to anything where anybody complains. These are things that we need. I believe very strongly that in this room community will come in the door. Kono will be open for international trade. I believe that strongly. Because from the forest region of Guinea, through Guinea itself to Conakry is 1,200 kilometers. But from that same area, from that passport to Conakry, is just 600 kilometers. So tell me, if you're a driver, who show you it? You always short no so. What in that mean? It means restaurant a lot of things can always be open for international business. So now we remind this passport that we not get not to experiment already for conduct. We are going to give our full and unconditional support to this government for make sure that let me turn this political rally. You don't talk to me people, they don't communicate to them how I feel. When the time reaches, we will get meetings. But I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking how I really truly feel. This all year we can't name man today after a great man, a great Angora man. Actually, my clothes are very so. Yes. The boss in my country clothes now very so. In the beginning of the audience, we get 2 people for them. When they see me, watch me spending. Send this man to this clothes. Usually my papa clothes. I said, I'm there. What should I do now? This man, I'm always served this corporate in all spheres. The minister, the ambassador, he did everything. But the most important thing, the children council member that I go. And that man, he is very witty, he has knowledge. Anytime open more to knowledge. Anytime open more to knowledge. Now children council, if we don't fashion inside, now we for we drive, we just say it down. Pull come on the bottom. Not to service man and the service man. He teach me something. Why they share the story of Chief Maslugu? It turns out it's Chief Maslugu the same thing. How for care for people then? Where you did before. When I campaign for people, I'm chief, I come to America, the pass with me around. That's that Pachiakaba was president. Who walk in a man. Pachiakaba for Wishima. He went to introduce me to Pachiakaba and said, some people are blah, blah, blah. Next day, all Wishima. Wishima, I remember that your men host, I did a Sahr lunch. So, I'm not the only commoner. So, ministers said, and then come and serve and food. The server and food, the woman was told the food as the woman the whole night push the food on me. I said, hey, I don't know the chili. It's very far. For no serve herself. That woman, the Alapa woman, he lost this person on the chocolate. I then bring your own chop. So 2 days later, they say, most if I'm not doing this, they're not doing it. Chief Asuku was recording in Gola Forest, like Enema. So the letter, first of all, he and the chief begin and massage the body. So the Gola for what she had been somewhere, I said, hey, Chief Asuku. But I came out and the cross for home. The canoe don't count out for granted this man. When I want to space in like the canoe. And Chief Asuku said, oh, my God, no, Satan. They insist. The canoe left Chief Asuku and other passing and the canoe come back for him. We come down at the beach. Now I tell Chief Asuku, oil someone in Pana that might get in and you know, say, if I was being close, I don't come back for you. So they taught me how to take care of others instead of you. It was practical. The story they know the drama will give now final one. Yeah, woman, they never have. I go to the Chief Asuku, we say Chief Asuku talking this. So then they go to Chief Asuku, they try this young. They reach there, the host. Now I take Chief Asuku, say, it's not about ask you, say you want to talk this case. Chief Asuku say, you are truly in trouble. If I go, it's happen at the top. Say, no, not for our leg. So we say, I want you wrong. He said, because if you go give me right, they say the next day the commander knows, they say, me and my brother and not conspire this time. If you have someone, you know, who come from one water. That's practicality. So now, honor, for that, we name this. I don't call it name. We have in portraits and the extreme end and the man and picture in this so that way if you come on and do, we get 2 plans. The name of this hall, and that man name for the panther. The other big plan put it at the corner. My life is everything about a 9 week. While the deal with Thomas Samuel Resource Center, the contractor says, Chief, this one will put you in. Now I say, you cannot honor yourself. Now other people they don't honor you. If God take me to her, una build one part body, una put a name for Baba Safi Memorial, so be it. But I don't go honor myself. So I must say thank you. Not to minister, not to you and I put pressure on my side. You already put myself up. Serious pressure on. 9 o'clock I call her, the husband. I will be at that church. I say,
thank you very much. I want you to agree. From your heart, this is the way I am, and the person is willing to seek this time for the minister. the permanent secretary, but waiting they don't do under this minister. We study mathematics, study statistics, I don't know, we just 1%, they for 0.25%, they for 0.1%, they for 100,000, they for 250,000. Then Sarkar don't value for 1 million.
Yeah, welcome once more. Still wait for sound and picture from Koidu Town. When we get one, we will definitely come back on the live broadcast. But I think I have to go live now myself until we get broadcast from Koidu Town. We also read the message from Chief Sakwi, and Chief Sakwi don't make very good points the way he highlights about my uncle. I would say my uncle, proudly say so, my uncle. The reason why I think Chief Sakwi highlights the points in this because of the kind man we late Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe. He's definitely a gentleman, he's a noble man, and he's also now somebody who gets all the character. Like Chief Sakwi said, not to serviceman, now being serviceman. I think he was definitely an all-rounder. He was militant, he was controversial, he was active, he was proactive, and also he was extremely intelligent and learned as well. When I say extremely intelligent and learned, I mean it in so many different ways, because not to just somebody who just emerged from opportunity, but somebody will work hard, and he also used intellectual capacity we take him to the highest height of in career. Not to somebody where that follow. He doesn't follow suit. You have to follow him. He's always like a leader. He gets a lot of leadership qualities in him where I feel say he don't project a lot in his career. So now person where you look at and say, I want to be like him. If I can talk about people and we influence a lot of people within the Kono region, including me and Papa, he's one of them. And when I say he's one of them, I mean it in so many different and great ways. Sometimes I realize what to make me Papa get all that kind of stuff we are so around them. You get history behind this, history behind that, history behind that. And when me uncle actually died, and I look at him background of all the things and we don't acquire in life, and I'm beginning to like say, okay, now I see the reason behind almost everything for passive acquire. He was basically leaving the footprint for my dad to follow through. And that is exactly what I saw in his career CV. He was the first former town clerk for Koidu News Town Council, that now from 1969 to 1971. Immediately after he done that service day, I think there was some kind of history behind it at some point. So basically, one begin putting your footstep behind her as they move forward. But he's a very remarkable man and very liberal man as well. And he believes in due diligence of starting things the way anybody need for acquire. And if you don't have the capacity, if you don't have the credentials, and if you don't have anything if you say you deserve to take certain positions, I think he will contest it. Sometimes he will also give up some of his own positions just to make way for other people to come on board. Now the kind of person anyway he be. when he served during those days now, Kono as the new first town clerk. And then they intervention and you have to say, yes, we Kono people and we don't begin get enough education for many people can run the communities the way meaning Koidu Town itself. But there's always a big divide between Koidu Town itself. There's a massive big divide. We then get Tankoro and Bense. And almost everything beneficial inside Koidu Town, Natanko. Even this, I gave me a kind of controversy, but anyway, then in a different discussion. Because Tankoro seems to be the only focal point of Koidu Town itself. In the Bense area and the area we yes gets some amount of community-based engagement, but not much because it is not a condensed area, a less condensed, less dense area. We not get huge population of Koidu indigenes or Koidu people living inside the Koidu Town itself. So Tankoro seems to have the most huge amounts of Kono people and Kono indigenes them or Kono people where they live now Kono with Tankoro mostly. Then they come out from that, they get a huge community. Wise Ben say not that much of a big community, but it's also there in existence. So they have that two divide. And when then they bring camp stuff then within the region, then they always look at the Tankoro area because they get a huge population, which is not a bad thing really, because at least if they create more facilities for them, then we're able to deal with the crowd. But Ben say also gets some amount of possible facilities then better in a way and less populated. And the division of that particular area, not just by the streets, not just the main streets name divide them. It's not the new Kaikondu Road or Kaikondu Road, now do that division. You get Kaikondu Road, Yadu Road, and Yengema Road. So those are the three major roads then in Kono. But Fillie Faboe in same then I think so now the people that we try for bringing that kind of cohesion and stop for bringing this division between Tankoro and Bense and try for make them like a one region. I think say likely, and I make them forget the new Sembe Town Council. So it was not Tankoro or Bense, and just create that kind of model there where feasible work for both sides, even though it was very much diverse in their own way. He was also a former member of parliament for Kono South, that was in 1973 to 1982. And then he also came back and served. So basically these were the brains behind the Sheikh Stephen APC period. I know many people might find it very difficult for understand, okay, this man have been APC bar or have been SLPP? But guess what? He was just serving. I think that one of the few politicians that we serve salon without political colors. I will say that primarily because I believe in some of the things that we do. When I say he serves salon without political colors, it wasn't really necessarily whether you've been in an APC or now in an SLPP, so I know will serve this party if they give me the opportunity for serve based on my capacity. So basically, they were the running machine of the Sheikh Stephen APC government, and he serves that government to the extreme. When I say to the extreme, as a member of parliament for Kono South, he was also a former Minister of State Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for 1978 to 1982. So basically, during this period of his service in government, he was also serving in various different capacities. I think he was the first and only ambassador who was serving as an ambassador to 3 or 4 sub-region countries. I can clearly remember, but I think I might find that on my research if I do. Yes, so he was a former ambassador of Sierra Leone, extraordinary. To the Republic of Guinea, Mali, Cape Verde, and Guinea-Bissau, just like I said, yeah. So he was one of very few ambassadors to all those countries that I mentioned. Guinea, Cape Verde, and Guinea-Bissau, and also serves as an ambassador to Liberia at some point, because I remember clearly when I was a young boy, I actually went to Liberia to pay a visit on one of my holiday trips. And that year I get a clear recollection of that. And I think that was in the possibly 80s, early 80s or late 70s, if I can remember. Yeah, I think it was around that time. So now somebody we don't serve government, you don't serve government to the fullest. Not just in his capacity as a Kono person, but also in his capacity as somebody we believe, say, if we're serving country, regardless of any kind of political colors. And you also, yeah, so I mentioned Guinea after you don't do the ambassadorial duties, then the Republic of Guinea, Mali, Cape Verde, and Guinea-Bissau. He also became an ambassador to the Republic of Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Niger. That was from 1982 to 1980. Well, don't have that ending. Anyway, so can you imagine one person serving in the capacity for 4 countries? This is not like a 20, 30 years back we're talking about now. And in his capacity, he was able to do that. So he was a great administrator. We not going to look at many things the way some people you look at right now as in being involved in politics. He did not have political colors stopping him from working properly. He did not have any kind of controversial decision-making when he was serving in all those different countries as an ambassador. So he was also a member of the University Court of the University of Sierra Leone. Okay, so back in the day, they used to have university courts in Sierra Leone at the Faboe College. And as a Faboe, definitely, if you serve as a member of the court system in Faboe College, it means you're not just a member, but you should have that kind of intellectual capacity for you to be able to be part of that organization. So it's not just about his political achievement, but he's also an academic. He also became the leader of the chairman Kono District Donso, Malaysia during the RUF war. Well, many people might not know what that means, but when the war broke up in Sierra Leone, Koidu Town became one of the prime targets, and they wanted to have somebody who is leading the civil defense force, we then call the Donso force in Kono District. And that civil defense force, according to history being passed on to me by my own elders within the family rank, then saying the warlord then we in Salon, maybe they fought the war intensely, were mainly from the Kenema region, and even getting some Yuma and few more others within the battlefield on a regular basis. So coming to Kono and Sky for Calm gets somebody way for be the chairman for the civil defense force when I've been in Donso force na Kono. They find it very difficult to get somebody who doesn't know the terrain for carry represent. And by then in the world, Papa they made Kono and they self do their own stuff. Although they were kind of the middle younger generation of Kono people that we've been living in the body, and still need somebody possibly of a higher authority than them. And I think I suggest say, Randolf Fillie Faboe. Who said it? So basically, he rallied around so many other Kono people there and say, well, this man, name for can lead we, because we need somebody we get authority within the ground. We need somebody we go able for direct. We need somebody we go able for follow, because he's always been a leader, and you don't get so many leadership opportunities, so many leadership role and titles then within the district itself, and you don't serve the country in so many different ways. So he was possibly the most senior amongst them all. That's what made him the chairman for the Donso militia, when I've been the civil defense force, we been the govern Koidu Town and the Kono district as a whole. So he was not just an intellectual, he was also a warrior. He was also a man who believes to put on the war jacket and go to the battlefield and defend the nation, and also defend in country and defend in ground and defend in people. So he made a lot of sacrifices in his days. And I think the sacrifices they were making in his days, we all don't begin to see. Some of the people that now will not be known, don't begin to get that kind of historical fact there about him. And his story for continue for be told to young civilians them who are involved in politics or young people that we actively involved in politics, we possibly know the history behind certain things that we make stand for be within Ibiso today. He was also a master farmer and an active pensioner. I think he died with acres and acres of farm where he left right now before he died. Because I think he ended his career as a farmer. And when he ended his career as a farmer, he invests in a lot of farming facilities in Koidu Town. Like I said a couple of days ago in one of our programs, Kono has always been known for a diamond-rich nation, but I think over the years, they've been actively involved in farming, and farming is possibly one of the main sources of earnings for some of the indigenous there right now, because there is minimal or possibly no form of illicit form of mining or artisanal mining we definitely get for do with small scale because of the ways at which the diamond don't go further down into the earth. You have to possibly have enough resources to do a large scale mining. So for that reason, people that don't begin decide for turn them back now from the illicit or artisanal mining for let them go into farming. So Fillie Faboe not just die with all what he don't achieve, all what he don't do to contribute towards the people of his nation, Kono. He also left huge amounts of farming facilities that we don't embark on for the past couple of years when he decided to go and retire. Now, Kono. And doing all in retirement time, he just take all that time to get himself involved into large scale farming. And that large scale farming, that's some of the things we left back for people and for continue to do. So I think if you guys have any access to this sort of farming facilities, please try to maintain it as much as you can, because that's now some of the legacies that we certain people then go left with you. Even though it is not something that anybody will say, oh yeah, well, let's give me farm, but that is one thing you should be proud of, because we parents them all left them kind of thing for we are facing on benefit or left for benefit, or they currently benefit the people that we possibly live within that environment. So yeah, he was also a farmer and a very good one too. And one way I feel say we do the best in capacity for make sure say we able for maintain we own livelihood and we social lifestyle they want to live. We discuss for see if we can get back to Koidu Town for see whether we'll be able to get the cameras then for come on, but I think the network was very much bad in Koidu. But we'll try to see how best that can be possible. But in the meantime, let's just round up Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe in not biography, because I won't be able to talk about his biography in full, but just a short message. We will be able to tell you exactly about the man himself and some of the things that we acquire as a living man when he was alive. So he also became a chiefdom committee member, which is the Tankoro and Benson chiefdom in the Kono district, like I said earlier on. This is an area that is divided into two regions, Tankoro and Benson. So he became the committee member for that particular region. And those two regions has always been a region that has different kind of culture in a way. When I say different culture, you might not understand that dynamics, but there is a dynamics that follows those two particular areas. People will always say, if you come on against a chiefdom or Koidu Town, it means you're not the kind of posh one, and we know possibly know what's in the real life of what's in Kono mean. If you come on at Tankoro, it means you are the hardcore ones. We go through the range of every challenges where you feel to say you will come across as a person within Koidu Town. So those were the two different kind of cultural background living in between them, two same town, but two different areas. Now, like we just say, within South Kiton, you get east, you get west, you get central, and then you get the other different communities then, but there is a massive divide between Faboe and Fullerton. That's the example I possibly will make those comparisons to. We didn't see them get Faboe and Fullerton. Same people, but different kind of lifestyle. From the same background, but different kind of lifestyle. Wherein the one they reading at Faboe, the lifestyle we then get is not as equal as the same as the one they reading at Fullerton. But not the same people, meaning. So that's the way Kono was divided at some points. You have the Tankoro boys and you have the Bense boys. Make you always say the Tankoro boys are the roughnecks. The Bense boys are the posh ones. We go fit to say, yeah, now we get all the facilities, now we posh kind of in a way. But then we get that kind of huge divide in terms of facilities being geared towards them, in terms of opportunities being given towards them, and also in terms of infrastructural development at some point. Because when you look at where most of the public facilities they are more or less in Tankoro. And when you look at Usai, more or less the private facilities they are Bense. So Bense indicates for more of the private sector. So they are no they build private hospital, private institution, private garages, private network. Now Bense them and then you get now all the government offices, them government installations, police headquarters, government hospitals, playing field, everything else we get for do the public and government institution install community development then not Tankoro them. So that's the difference. And then we get that kind of difference is in the way how they administer that. So Fillie Faboe was a member of those two committees. I think say it possibly be the try for March or it be put in place in the way before make them two communities they also work together closely so that they be able to achieve the best of what's in evidence so they will achieve. We most likely might miss the opening ceremony of the launching of that particular building they will then go do today because we're still not able to get the cameras then from Koidu Town yet. But in the meantime, look at Sky for see they said still the camera in Koidu Town is on, but I cannot see nothing on right now. So make I just cross check Koidu and see whether you get them on. So I did Sky for me and ask Koidu Town for log on back again so that we'll be able for get the camera back up and running. Okay, now just give me 1 minute quickly whilst I'm trying to communicate to Koidu Town. One second, guys. But these are some of the challenges we can get sometimes for broadcasts from Freetown and his life. But it's not broadcast from Kono and his life. So you will be faced with so many challenges the way you feel to say might be easy, but it's not. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy at all. It's going to be very much challenging because the operations is not going to be the same. The environment is not going to be the same. It's a different terrain. It's a different network capacity. It's a different devices. Everything is not going to be the same because it's something possibly we have done there before, but with various different personnels. And that are some of the challenges you might be faced with. But we try for log back on and then see if we can able to forget the cameras in Koidu Town to be back on. Apparently they're on so far, but I think we're not able to capture anything. So I think that has been the challenge so far. So the try for gets them for log back on and see.
When you work for me at university in Badu, it costs over $200,000. Today, you're gonna my bank, the next one is within a 100 hospital. Everywhere in the country, mining sector is contributing to human capital development, healthcare, education, social amenities. These are the contributions of the mining sector. PAYE jobs created for 7 years. If we continue to build the confidence of investors, we continue to create that enabling environment for investors, we continue to accentuate and promote the interests of our communities. These areas, will over the years have been considered as cost to this nation, will become this.
Koidu Town. In the meantime, we're just trying to see how best we can able to get things up and running there. We might be lucky. Maybe they haven't been able to launch yet officially, but we wait and see what could be the possibility for maybe we get that picture up and running soon. Okay, so in the meantime, I think we don't get something maybe closer to home, which I think we'll be able to use anytime soon.
So we say we even get more other important minerals than diamond and gold. Today we get, in fact, in Bombali district, some artisanal miners just went to look for coltan. They bumped into what we call pegmatite. Pegmatite is the base rock for lithium, and lithium is one of the most important minerals for the energy transition, used in semiconductor industry. This they show you every day. This is a nation that is blessed with resources. We pray that we will reach this height. Let God modify me for Peter what we pray. So the generation where they come will come with a sense of responsibility to each other. I believe, say, with the foundation stone, where His Excellency retired Brigadier Osman will be set for the mining sector and the other sectors like energy, education, healthcare. If we continue to build on this, our nation will become a progressive and developed nation in not too far distance. As part of this Mines and Minerals Act also is a surface strength. This is the ethnic spirit. The ethnic spirit for a deliberate effort for ensure we meet our justice so that justice is decided. The surface strength in the past, and only 50% will go to the landowners. And now what this new Mines and Minerals Act will do, 70% of the surface rent will go down to the one that will get the land, which the chiefdom also they get these resources, but not excuse the district council from this surface rent that they pay. We don't excuse the district council, I teach you. We don't excuse the district council, but we don't substitute surface rent in favor of the district council with what they call the Chief District Development Fund. His Excellency make a mandatory in this new law that every revenue that is derived from a district, not less than 20% of that revenue should be replowed to the district with another resource. So which means if $10 million come on through Koidu, 1% of that will come to the Community Development Fund. And the 3% royalty that goes to the state, at least 20% of that royalty will be replowed to Koidu district, which means even the chiefdoms will not get diamonds, will benefit through that, or other resources. This is equitable distribution of wealth. So we not reach days. We have just started walking. We need to walk faster and even start for jogging sprint. A work in progress. We cannot succeed as a government. We cannot succeed as leaders of society if not tag along and bring along everyone. And in this Mines and Minerals Act, it was also very deliberate for create an entire chapter for the protection and promotion of the interests of vulnerable persons, such as women and children in mining communities. This is very important because the sister here is a part of a report produced by civil society organizations. And that report showed the absolute weaponization
against women in mining enclaves. So the way mining companies every year they do environmental audits, government will also be doing gender auditing on mining companies for ensuring women are employed, for ensuring women are not victimized in mining companies and mining enclaves. All of this vision, as long now realize that it not be possible if we don't get the astute leadership of His Excellency the President. Retired President Julius Malaki. Kono is a very important district in this country. It is important historically, it is important today, and to be important forever. Because this is not only the breadbasket of Israel, but it is one of the strongest knowledge bases of this country. I am so pleased that now we don't get the Kono University of Science and Technology. I was speaking to someone, I said, Kono University of Science and Technology, by the time it starts, it will be one of the best universities in this country because of the committed, educated descendants of Kono District. And I want to end by saying that as much as we expect, say, mining companies for the key resources to government and to the communities, there are many challenges affecting mining companies. One of those challenges in the cost of operations of mining companies are energy. Energy, they represent over 40% of the overhead cost of the landed cost of a mining operation. And that is why His Excellency, in his wisdom, he believes we will add the needed value to minerals for create more jobs and bring more revenues. And it is that's integral component of mineral beneficiation, mineral transformation, value addition to minerals. He said we for try for bring energy, which is key to that transformation. And that is why today, by coincidence, the direct coincidence, I get the Honorable Chief of the Madigo people in this country, the Honorable Minister of Energy, the former council leader of NAMSA, Alhaji Ibrahim Tajase, he gave our presence today, particularly for can connect Koidu Holding Limited to the national grid of the CISG line. This means the implication of this is if Koidu Holdings on a monthly basis they use $2 million for energy, and this new energy availability they use $500,000. They have reduced on their cost, increased their profit, more CDF, more money coming to the CDF and to the state. You see the domino effect. And that is why development has to be holistic, for the peculiar. Before we go pray today, but the prayer will happen actually are part of our existence as well. Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe, Honorable. May his soul rest in peace. May the unity of the great people of Kono District, the Pampodongas, the Amoye Kromans, the Honorable Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe, and all the paramount chiefs, make Kono for remain united and progressive. We believe, say, Kono, if we remain united and progressive, and back this Israeli People's Party, this place not going to be the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister. I want to do me a favor, a big favor. I don't want to let anybody come out or let anybody grab. Me and the Honorable Minister will go at the back of that building, that white close with England. Together with Fillie Faboe family members, we need 3. When we done, we're gonna do, we will unveil the other 2 plaques we did. Then we'll come back inside. And one of the daughters of the great man, it will give a vote of thanks. Waiting me don't learn in this 17 years why I don't come. As I say vote of thanks, it's not say the 10 people the local. Then the place becomes chaotic. So we are giving our promise today. So we are go sit down, tell the court of time. So we are promise. We always promise we are put our But thank you very much. I believe that. So we don't reach this point. I will invite the Fillie Faboe family. We'll go walk to the back of this building together with the minister. When we go unveil that name, then we go unveil that today. And this is one of the minister and all the branches there. Also, welcome to the Honorable Minister of Energy. We will be able to for their support for witness the whole way of their up to the life. You're welcome, sir. We ask after this meeting, you a chief or a chief or a separate meeting, sir. We'll do that, sir.
To the unveiling of the plaque by the Honorable Minister of Mines, Kaba, Chief of Koidu, I think Ben Seltan, I'm not too sure which one is it, in Chief Sakwi, in members of the Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe family. I don't know who plaque is going to be unveiled. Across there, you have very well, some of have huge amount of it's not all over the place. But yeah, I know that's black organization to represent Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe with and just outside. So this is a great establishment, really, because that we have to look at the view from that plaque there is that plaque in name and titles and see what things in the White House. I mean, we now have to see that plaque in the now this will be the final plaque. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, as we see, we get Finda and Bintu and the Honorable Minister and Kakwi. The tablet stone that is outside the building. We'll possibly get that plaque later on. I think that plaque should have most of his name titles, list of bats, insurance,
Honorable, go to the side. Go to the side. Go to the side. You can invite yourself.
As you can all see. The family this afternoon launch and that's
Now we all sit down. Now we can listen to the vote of thanks from the power family. Thank you very much. We are now sit down, but I've been promised myself that I will sit down. What Dr. Sise, I give you 2 minutes. Let's say something more over then I will come listen to the vote of thanks. Then pardon them for 2 minutes.
Okay, I will be very brief. High table, the people there, at Mark I represent all the women in Akono. Unagra. Because nobody not feel the injustice of diamonds past we the woman there. Alive? 95% of the continent, when we go to school, they don't go to school. Alive? Having them fault? So do you what to me they say, are they big? That money like when they don't increase and so that they increase the commitment to the girl in the way they go to school. We don't need now. What we suffer, we will be at that. But let we pick them and we grant pick them, no suffer that injustice. Let we give priority to the education of girls in this district. Me now one person where they champion that. And they get an organization where they call WISTEM, Women in STEM. Because as they go all over the world internationally and they train teachers and have for teach mathematics and science. And when I'm kind of salon, even though the present government, you don't give the opportunity for girls for both university that they do science free of charge, we begin another pass. And if they're not pass, government will push them. So do you I want that money where they can let them set more aside, particularly for support girls for complete education, irrespective of which profession they do. Because if one of them men is successful, whether they say the paramount chief then they're educated, then what's they self-educated? If they work they're not being educated, I don't think say Chief Faboe will agree, Chief Faboe will agree with me
In Webster, not a cheap cookie. Agree with me for say, if you not get a strong, educated, and committed woman, enough for me to say you don't do. So that for say, let the education of women there be at the forefront. This year, plenty of them pass, but they don't pass English and mathematics. So anything you will do, I will work with Kappa, I will work with anybody, I will work with CDC for letting encourage more girls to stay on at school. They will not only one of them for your money. Okay? Well, we never pay school fees, we will help nothing. So now that more media for stay. More support for women and girls in the college district. Thank you.
The end of the program, and come there with people there, and listen to very, very, very informative statement made by the keynote speaker, Lunacy President and the Minister of Mineral Resources. On behalf of the CDC and all of us in the party, want to give great appreciation for the initiatives of the state. And it looks to me, when we translate which government is doing in reality, we're talking about welfare development. We're talking about community empowerment. And we know the government, like government will create wealth, government will create the environment. And once again, we think this law don't do for now, future generations, but don't do for 10. So we very much appreciate the Minister of Vietnam, and the committee say that thank you, and that remind you, as they have to write a letter to you, the CDC, let me remind that. So on that note, on Mrs. Fillie Faboe, Mary, thank you.
Stop opening there for the camera.
A warm and graceful afternoon to our most valued parishes, local authorities, honorable ministers, permanent secretaries, honorable members of parliament, His Worship, the Mayor, Octa Limited, distinguished guests, family members, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the entire Fillie Faboe family to acknowledge the formidable efforts of those who worked tirelessly alongside our able partner Chief Paul Gaba-Saki of Chashore in pioneering and constructing this memorial hall named after our beloved father, Honorable Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe. I refuse to say names. All has been said about our father, therefore I will not reiterate of our father's tremendous works to humanity and the country at large. I would like to say a hearty thanks to you all for taking your time out of your busy schedules to grace this occasion. Thanks for being here today, and thanks for listening to me speak. Ingwe Kaka Mansa Paul Gaba-Saki. Thank you.
Honorable ministers, in a traditional system, I'm not sure when I say this part, go small, the table say Pastor, you know, one way say that, one way say that, one way say that. I'm not say this part, Pastor, I'm serious. Timini, Mene, I make a big hotel and I said I English. Now, we belong to Bonku side. Now, you call picking also. When they call me that, so to many people in that Tankro, they can't adopt also let it Tankro. We want to come up with it. So we get a gift for them. We get a gift for the other ministers separate coming to this program. We'll be on a try quick. Sir, the first gift over there for you now, I got it close. The first one I got it close. The second one, we get sheep. We not be able to give sheep on purpose. Raise them up, have sheep there, and for give good health and prosperity. For make people that like you, they say like people there. And therefore, in idols, they give you mantra. So the sheep there, as they drag out for guys and it's about you wait in that land and the sheep for the short in the land. You sell people that who are you sell? The sheep and Moses said, they said, don't tower, they don't suspend it. No, come before ya. This honorable minister Nasarashi for you. The one goat, the minister of energy said on it, so the one goat now for the minister of energy, the bigger one. And the way so the people that the minister of energy. This one, the other goat, the minister before honor. And for the member, one way go back to the next yesterday for them, I make sure say they are all so now I will get to the drivers and two ministers and the driver. You are the car ready for what it's now. You know, any perfect now, you know, food day. This robot is directly in front of me. And the ministers and the go with all paramount chiefs, all chief of speakers, tribal head, the LEC, the brigade commander. When I go through this outside chief, Chief Bawa, you don't stand the 27, you say Chief Bawa and also. Don't worry, the paramount chiefs, chief of speakers, tribal authorities, the rest of them, and will give una support. Then the balance will go at the end, but enough food for everyone.
All right, viewers, so come to the end of the official launching of the wall, where they named after a great late honorable winner Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe. So they named this particular wall after him. Let his soul continue to rest in perfect peace.
From Koidu Town, appreciate we pictures right up to the end. So thank you very much, Mr. Sila. And as we now go around with the camera, I will likely possibly mute Mr. Sila, and then If we get pictures from there, it will be fine. But I think I don't even think we're gonna get pictures from there anyway. All right, that's fine. But in the meantime, right from here, let's talk a little bit about the whole launching itself, and then a little bit about Koidu Town, and then a little bit about Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe himself, the late man, before we round up the program. I want to say thank you first to everybody. We don't join since this morning, since this afternoon we'll start, and I want to say thank you to all. It is a program that was scheduled, but we thought it wasn't going to be broadcasted later on, but we had to put it off because definitely Sahr Randolf is not just Sahr Randolf, but he's also my uncle and somebody I don't live with and know for possibly all my life until I came to the UK. But I still kept in close contact with the family members, the daughters and the son, I know very well. And one of Sahr Randolph's wife is my mom's very closer ally when they were both married to those two great men, Sahr Randolph and my dad. But anyway, now we've seen the non-launch and finally, and they take a huge amount of people, roughly between 500 to 1,000, as you look at the capacity. And then the hall gets a canteen area as well, where they will use for food services or for any other kind of purposes. And the hall gets offices then where they create inside the venue itself. So it's not just an empty establishment. It's an establishment that is well put together in terms of structuring, wherein you have administrative offices in the building, you have a canteen area in the building, so they all can be utilized only for the purpose of the whole events they wouldn't get for a whole another particular area. It is somewhere in Tankoro. I don't know exactly what street, but I think they call the place, I think they build that particular holiday in some landmark area where I think say all man be aware of. But like when one of the chiefs then come earlier on and talk, say Koidu Town was primarily destroyed during the war. It is true, it was destroyed during the war, and every monumental element of what remained as Koidu Town was practically put down, not even in existence anymore. So some of them are just gravel, no one left, some are just displaced, nobody available. Some displaced not even available anymore because they might have created something on top of those empty spaces over the years. And when I remember I walked into Koidu Town for the first time after the war and after living in Sierra Leone for maybe about 10, 15 years, I was actually driving into a ghost town. That's the feeling you will possibly get. It was not a good feeling at all, especially where I haven't been there for almost 15 years. And all throughout the war, I wasn't there. I did not even experience anything of what was happening there. But when I went there for the first time, at night, you can realize that you're actually walking into a gravesite. That's how silent the place was. And Canadian days, then they always used for be a 24-hour city, Koidu Town itself. Non-stop music, non-stop entertainment, and non-stop livelihood within the entire Koidu Town. If you go now, Opera, Usai Motor Theatre, the Opera, the lights around the middle of the Koidu Town itself is always active, 24/7. But that experience that night was very, very strange, and I didn't realize that I was actually in Koidu Town until somebody said, "Oh, na Koidu Town don't show. Oh, na Yengema don't pass. Oh, we didn't say." I'm like, wow. Okay, it was a very, very surprising moment. But that's Koidu for you, and Danny don't possibly pass. We need to forget about them because it's very important for the history of the town itself. And if we forget about those history, that means we're not going to learn anything going forward. So the man we honor today, na Kono, as one of the son of the soil, na Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe, we then named the hall after him. Very good initiative, very good idea. Thought of very well by the people of Kono, especially the chiefs them. And I would say kudos to Chief Sakwi, because definitely Nayon surrounding Dandi and Nayon possibly not the chief for Tankoro chiefdom. So it was a good initiative, good idea, right on time. When I say right on time, we just don't do in 2 years anniversary or one, I think in 1 year anniversary, no, in 2 years anniversary. So basically, now something we just flow in time for make them do in 2 years anniversary. We just done about a couple of weeks, about a week or two ago. And then he now can meet this opening of this particular hall. I don't know whether it was either decided by the chiefs or decided by people who are like stakeholders in Koidu Town, but for the fact say they even think about naming the hall after him is a very good and great idea, because it means we're not going to be leaving out the names of the people that have represented Koidu Town and Kono district for all these years of their life. The contribution they don't make. Not just get for go by and just die like that. I remember them they call Konomani Park when I've been the town clerk for how many years? That park they will ever remain to be named Konomani Park. It will not change. So that means Konomani will always remain to be in the mouths of Kono people. Then we always know say that park they still there. I don't know whether they don't change the name, but I don't think it would be a good idea if they did or if they have. Because we get for keep their legacy then they. You get Sukutamba Hospital again, we get for keep their legacy then they. So you get few legacies then you get for maintain. You get few legacies then you get for make. Because otherwise, we great grandpicking then we get for come after the other generation. So the third generations after we never possibly see or know anything about the great people there. So because history has never been taught in our country for me to be able to know who were the greatest people in our communities. History has never been put to us in our libraries or museums or place of relics. So history is being wiped away from the minds and souls of Sierra Leoneans. If we're able to maintain the structure there, so we get the remarkable names of people who don't serve their community there. So I think it would be a waste of their contributions towards society, especially in their local communities. If nobody knows them in their local community, then nationally, they will not be known. So we therefore try as much as possible for maintain their legacies there. So for their names there, so we'll know for say, don't make meaningful contributions towards the community and the country. So I totally agree and I totally support the mandate. We actually come up with this idea. But again, we've seen and heard a lot of political statements being made by many people, and we don't see a lot of statements being made by people who are in authority in Kono and in Koidu Town to be specific. So we therefore begin to look at just those lip services of political statements being made that are not going to be of any relevance to the people of Sierra Leone. And we now know it's political year around the corner. So this is the perfect opportunity for any government in power to take advantage and use those sort of elements for campaign purposes. But I believe for sure, this one is not one of those, except some of the other statements and we will make, the highlights. But I think this particular one is not really a political statement. It's not really a campaign statement for just say we can do something for Kono people and vote for it. No, this I think primarily is the fact that Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe has made immense contribution to Kono, has made immense contribution to the Kono people, and has also made immense contribution to the country Sierra Leone. I think if you look at administrators, then we don't serve Salone at some point. He is possibly one of the Sierra Leonean and we don't serve Salone in a very high administrative capacity. So for honoring him in Kono, I think it's worth it. It's way more than worth it. And again, nothing to do with politics as far as I'm concerned. And again, nothing to do with campaign as far as I'm concerned. Yes, there might be people who want to capitalize on it for say, oh yeah, now we don't do it no more because now, again, nothing to do with that. I will say that with really confirmed self-feeling within myself for no say this one, it deserves and beyond reality. It deserves even more. And I think the whole yes is one, but if they even name any other things after myself, I will be very happy. Of course, getting your streets are free, Faboe streets, that's not a problem. That will not change either. But I think anything more than this will be a bonus, but this is very much accepted. This is very much non-political to me. This is very much something that he well deserves, because without things like this, we'll not be able to maintain with history. Like I said, Koidu Holdings has been there for donkey years now, I would say for maybe 10, 15 or 20 years. And all that year of Koidu Holdings in Kono has made some amount of difference, but hasn't made some amount of difference as well, because they built a huge amount of local housing establishments, which will be used by or taken over by the indigenous and people living at the mining fields of the Koidu Holdings itself. But some of the facilities are still empty due to political unrest. Some of the facilities are not up to scratch like they anticipated it to be. So you have very few individuals who benefited a lot from the Koidu Holdings benefits towards the social corporate responsibility of the mining company themselves. And now we understand, say, the percentage quota of the benefits or the dividends or the royalties of the mining company, Koidu Holdings, would have been 0.20 something percent, has now been rounded up to upper science. Will that be good enough? Maybe, maybe not, or maybe yes, possibly, but I'm not too sure what a percentage of whatever earnings is going to be. Is it going to be a yearly earnings, monthly earnings, or every other earnings of the New Mines and Mineral Act? We're yet to see. We haven't seen it yet, but basically, if it's out there in the public, please do share us a copy, or will still wait for governments pass and authorize and sanction the bill and sign them so that it could be an act straight away. I remember a couple of years ago, we were supposed to be working on a documentary on the New Mines and Mineral Act put together by current Honorable Alpha Khan, where they represent the SLPP political party in government, but we did not see that came out at all in any, come up with any kind of benefits to the people of Koidu Town and the mining industries itself in civilian. The only thing where we see different happen at the factory, we have series of different mining companies that is not just diamond, but rutile, bauxite, and iron ore. We create a huge amount of employment within the northern part of civilian, specifically Tonkolili, Marampa, and Makeni area, and well, yes, the North basically benefited a lot from that particular element of mining. So when you look at the other industry, when I've been a diamond mining companies in civilian, especially the ones that we build in our Koidu and the Kenema axis, we are not of any benefit. We haven't seen nothing that has happened differently from what has been the status quo for the past 10, 15 years. So basically, we possibly want to see what the New Mines and Mineral Acts consist of and how it will benefit civilians. So we're yet to see that anyway. We're yet to see what is the detail, because I remember a couple of years ago, we did have an interview with the former Minister of Mines that was sacked immediately after that interview. Nothing to do with the interview, it's just a coincidence. But I think after that interview, this particular minister was about to sanction or pass the New Mines and Mineral Act. And the thing is, he was a minister that was a chairperson for the Committee of Parliament sitting for the Mines and Mineral Act Committee. So basically, he knew exactly what are the flaws of the previous Mines and Mineral Act, because he was a chairperson in that particular committee. And then he served twice under the Ernest Koroma government as a chairperson for that Mines and Mineral, for the Ministry of Mines. So he knows in depth about the problems of the act, about the problems of the mining industry in Sierra Leone. So when he fortunately became the Minister of Mines that succeeded the Minister of Mines of the Ernest Koroma government, he only served for a few months, I think, not even up to a year. And he was sacked based on the fact that he disagreed, and he was actually trying to change the formation of the New Mines and Mineral Act. We will benefit the people of Sierra Leone. That was his agenda. So for him to be sacked and be replaced by somebody who, I will not say don't have experience, but I will say very young and naive within that sort of industry, and he's in his capacity, I think, not judging him, but I think in his capacity, he hasn't got the experience to manage or oversee that particular ministry, because he's just coming from university, a school leaver, and I think you should be deputizing somebody else before taking over that sort of office, because you might not know what are some of the implications of the ministries itself. So I will not disregard his credentials, but I think I will disregard his experience for him to be managing that particular breadbasket of Sierra Leone. And yet we have seen nothing that has happened within that particular ministry for the past 3 years that I think he's been the minister of that particular ministry. So if anybody really know anything about the New Mines and Mineral Act, please come out and say it and how it will benefit the people of Koidu or Kono and the people of Sierra Leone. Because again, we highlight few things on our programs here last week, and no, this week, Wednesday, and we talk about the advantage and disadvantage of voting Kono Talek 40 years ago and voting Talek now. The benefits of the Koidu people, of Kono people back in those years, and voting at the benefit now. And we've seen some amount of development, but we haven't seen a lot as we might be expecting. Anyway, but the minister mentioned of the New Science and Technology University, which will be one of the best in Sierra Leone because of the influence of the learned Kono people. Yes, I agree. If at all that is going to happen, because we yet to see the preparation of that university. We don't know how many years it's going to take for that university to be erected in Kono. Yes, the president launched it about a year or two ago, but we haven't seen much that has happened yet. So basically, we don't know whether that is going to be erected or not, because we've seen so many launching of so many different facilities within our communities in Sierra Leone, but we haven't seen much of those erections that have taken place. So I don't want it to be a political statement. I want it to be a statement of reality. A statement of reality is something that we believe will happen. It's something that we believe is going to happen now, not in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years. I believe also the increment of the percentage of the royalties, which was raised up to 1%, will be something that will benefit the entire community per se, not just very close circle of individuals. So we have to be very mindful of how we make some of these statements, of how we actually talk to the people of Kono. Kono, yes, is a swing state in Sierra Leone politics. We don't know whether it's going to be the same, but currently it's being taken over by the C4C, and I think I don't know whether it will still remain C4C, whether it will remain APC, whether it will go SLPP. Nobody knows that until come election 2023, which we are now in a couple of months away. But colleague, we just wrap up the fact that we were here today to talk about Sahr Randolf Fillie Faboe. I will just have to make mention of few of his credentials in a summary, just to wrap up the program on him, and then leave it to the expectation of fellow Sierra Leoneans to actually determine on their own whether this man should possibly one of the most, what's the word I use? Possibly the saloon man we don't serve in almost every capacity in terms of serving the nation without any political colors. I think so. I think he's possibly one of the men I will highlight to be possibly the only person that has served in 2 different political parties without the difference of political colors being part of his agenda, based on the fact that he has the credentials and he delivered on both sides. He delivered hugely for the Sheikh Stephen government when APC was in power, and they were like a foot soldier for APC. So he's stick and thin APC. But when the Tijan Kaba government took over governance in Sierra Leone, he also served as Minister of Eastern Province. I don't know how they call them again. Was it a permanent? No, not permanent secretary. Resident Minister Eastern Province, I think. So he served as Resident Minister Eastern Province, and his headquarters was in Kenema. And not just possibly new to Kenema, he served within that region when he was serving as a representative in the Sheikh Stephen government. So basically, he knows those areas in and out. So basically, he served in his capacity in Koidu under the APC Sheikh Stephen government, and he also served under the government of Tijan Kaba, also now the eastern part of Sierra Leone, but he made his residential headquarters in Kenema at that point in time. So he served the country well, and he represents Salon in various different capacities as ambassadors. But I'll just go through in CV, as in positions wise, he was serving as a civil servant in Sierra Leone. So he was the former first city clerk of the Koidu New Sembe Town Council, which was from 1969 to 1971. He became the former member of parliament for Kono South from 1973 to 1982, and then he came back and represents from 1996 to 1999. He was also a former Minister of State, Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation from 1978 to 1982. And he was also a former Minister of State for Eastern Province, that 1999 to 2007, when he was serving under the Tijan Kaba government. He was also a former ambassador of Sierra Leone, extraordinary and plenipotentiary to the Republic of Guinea, Mali, Cape Verde, and Guinea-Bissau. That was from 1974 to 1977. He was also a former ambassador of Sierra Leone to the Republic of Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Niger from 1982 to 1987. Like I said earlier on, I was one of his guests in Liberia, but I think that definitely that was in the 80s anyway, and I was slightly younger. So in the 80s, I actually visited him in Liberia, and I stayed for, I think for a month, because it was a final year school holiday. So I've spent some time with him. I make myself get all the kind, I guess some of him cracking, and because he passed them on, some things he passed on to generation. So basically I get some elements of that. Also a member of the University Court of the University of Sierra Leone, which is the Forobe College. He was also leader and chairman, Kono District, Donsos, Malaysia, during the RUF for the Donso Malaysian equivalents to Kamajos, equivalents to Civil Defense Force, when are the Kamajos, yes. So that's the equivalent of the Kamajos for Kono District, when I'm in the Donso, and I'm the leader battalion. So it was a special battalion being put together just to defend the territory of the Kono people in Koidu and also the Kono District itself. And he was also a master farmer and a NASID pensioner. Of course, a master farmer. Now he ended up with a final career because after in service within the civil servants, after in service in governments, because the last position we hold now the position of resident minister Eastern Province. After that, he retired, and then he retired back to Kono, and he go begin work on farming. And in farming, we work on now something we do for the rest of in time until he passed away 2022. On the 29th of December, I guess, yes. So basically, that was him. And he also became the former vice chairman and leader of Sierra Leone delegation to the UN General Assembly in New York in 1978 to 1982. So this man has served in almost all administrative capacities in Sierra Leone. He don't serve not as a minister, but he don't serve as a minister. He don't serve as an ambassador to possibly 8 countries in Africa. He don't serve also as I would say war veteran in Kono, but not a war veteran. So he don't serve in various capacities in Sierra Leone. And I believe for make Kono people in honor today, for name this hall after I think is a remarkable achievement by a young Sierra Leonean from Kono. We don't serve in all capacities in politics, in civil service, and also in private life. So as we all don't see, we don't get the honorable people, and we don't go to Kono today. The Honorable Minister of Finance, of Mines, Timothy Kaba. I think the Minister of Energy and Power, Bindede, also. And you get the Chief Sakui of Bensa Chiefdom or Tankoro Chiefdom, I'm not too sure which one of which. And you also get the daughters of the great man himself, Finda, Kumba, and Bintu, where they all go for unveil the plaque of this great man. So the hall itself is in his honor, and I believe say it's a good thing that they did. It's very good initiative, well thought of, and they cannot be the first, they cannot be the last. They could be something we get for be an ongoing process of remembering the people that have served Kono diligently, remembering the people that we don't serve Kono in all capacity. We don't say them boku, we don't pass away, we the Kono people know for recognize and put something down under their name. But I think it's a good start. If we start from Sahr Randolf, I think the others then we possibly be done before Sahr Randolf, then will also be mentioned, or they also then will begin to think about them as well. But they will not just start no more with one establishment like this, and we feel to say that's enough. No, that's not enough. That is just one step of 1,000 steps to be taken. And they will not just feel satisfied. So, oh yeah, they're not going to be called for you, so that's it. No. That is nothing compared to what Kono contribute towards other economies them all over the world. So not just within Salon economy, but what Kono contribute towards other economies them now the outside world. Because for legal mining company, they come for invest billions of dollars into Sierra Leone, it means they are taking trillions of dollars out of Sierra Leone to their own countries. So we not just get for be happy and satisfied when they don't build that kind of structure. Yes, it is good. Yes, to confirm whether it's state of the art, but yes, it is good. It's something totally different from what we always see as the norm. But I think that is not enough. We need more, and more should be done for Lake we able to foresee the benefits of what in Koidu Holdings they do, specifically in our Kono district. So that's now one of many, and Lake we continue for watch the space, and Lake we make sure say things like this should not be politicized, because it might not have anything to do with politics. So we should not bring the political connotation around them and use them as a political tool for campaign for win election. Yes, we're coming to election year, so things might have happened, things might change. A lot of stuff is going to happen now with all the regions in Sierra Leone, not just Kono, but let's just keep our eyes open and make sure, say, most of the things that already happen right now may not have any kind of political connotation attached to them, because we might not accept it to be used as a political tool. So I will say kudos to the Fillie Faboe family. I will say thank you to Sila for making sure that we have some amount of connection. We come out right from Koidu Town and Tankoro Chiefdom, to be precise. And I will say thank you to all the members of the high table, Chief Sakwi, for your contribution towards Kono district and towards the Koidu Town Council itself, and also to the mayor of Kono. I know Sabine name, I don't know much of those particular dignitaries that they represent, but I think it's my duty to find out about all of those people and make sure say our Sabine name and possibly get contact and possibly reach out to them at some point, because we also need them for come and talk to the people and make the people know exactly what's going to happen within their own township and what are some of the things that they are doing that will benefit their people. So it's not just about saying these things just because political campaigns is around the corner, but we also need to know, because it's their duty to talk to the people and let them know whether they need A, B, C, D, and how then we will forget effects of the things they need to do, we will benefit the community. So I also want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Sierra Leone media team for making sure that this happens in in a split of a seconds when asked to do things like this. So it's not been easy, and I think it's fine for us to be able to broadcast stuff like this, because this is not just an event, it is a very important event that needs to be recognized, not just by the people of Kono, but also by the people of Sierra Leone in the diaspora. We come up from that particular region, but also from the people of Sierra Leone. We don't necessarily come up Kono, but can see some of the differences that we sometimes Kono people in the push towards the people that we don't serve them, so that they shall be able to copy and do equally the same in their own local communities they will be. So now watch out for the space for tonight. We might have a program coming up. We get to do with January 6th. Today is a remarkable day in Sierra Leone. January 6th means a lot to so many people, and we face the gruesome battle we happen at Salone, especially inside Freetown. So we need to forget the day. The day is very important to us, because now the day that we people and remember say a lot of Sierra Leoneans lost their limbs, their legs, and they were made permanently disabled due to the gruesome acts of the rebel war on that particular day. I know it might be 10, 15 years down the line since that incident happened, but like I said earlier on, we should not forget about these things, because when we do forget about these things, it means it never happened. And yes, it does happen. We can see the victims of January 6th today in Sierra Leone. Some of them are spattered, some of them are pushed out of offices, some of them are kicked from their homes, some of them have suffered, and they are still suffering the consequences of that gruesome event that took place on January 6th, a couple of years ago. And I don't think we should forget about them. And I don't think we should just let it go and say, okay, don't happen, don't pass, not to me happen, too slow, move on. It's easy to say that, but the amount of ruins then with that particular thing they don't left in the hearts of Sierra Leoneans, I think it's greater than voting people in the city and accept, say, we should move on. Yes, we should move on, but that doesn't mean we should forget about them. Yes, we should move on, but that doesn't mean we should neglect them. Yes, we should move on, but that doesn't mean we should not give them the support that they so due. So as far as I'm concerned, we should try as much as possible as we can for make sure, say, we give them the best of what mankind can offer, especially when they were not they were not disabled by choice. They were disabled by vicious Sierra Leoneans who decided to make them disabled just because they want to get things their own way. So watch out the space for tonight. We might be coming up with a program, and that program is going to talk intensely about the gruesome activities of January 6th and the impacts of January 6th and the repercussion of January 6th and the way forward after January 6th, what we need to do for the amputees that were made amputees, not because they wanted to be, but the choice of evil civilians who think that's the only thing they can do to implement fear and scare the life and scare the livelihood for the entire or the rest of the life of the people that they decided to make disabled on that particular day. So thank you once more for watching, and continue for share with Facebook and YouTube page, and continue for like the page, and continue for share with programs. So we'll definitely come back to that tonight. Until tonight, I will say bye-bye, and Ramadan Kareem for Friday prayers today for those who are supposed to be going to the mosque and offer their prayers to God. Good luck. Thank you.